Hello, and thank you for returning to my channel. It's been a long time again since I did a reflection, besides the sermon I just recently posted. The lectionary readings this week is the readings for Advent 1, and they are shockingly contextual. So this is from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 21, 25 to 36. I'll just read a first few verses. There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, and on the earth distress among nations, confused by the roaring of the sea and the waves. The people will faint from fear and foreboding of what is coming upon the world, for the powers of heaven will be shaken. And then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. It's those first two verses. My goodness, for us in Abbotsford and on the west coast of British Columbia and in the coastal mountains, we have seen the powers of heaven unleashing. Even as I speak right now, there's another, 30 to 40 millimeters of rain, 50 millimeters of rain, a couple inches of rain falling in this period. We're going to break tomorrow and then 75 to 80 over the weekend. These are outrageous numbers of volume of rain coming down upon us. And this is following up from the heat dome from the summer, where Abbotsford had a 45.4 degrees Celsius temperature. Heat domes, atmospheric rivers, these are the signs in the heaven. And the sign is a sign of the hurting world. That creation itself is in pain. And we need to take action. A few weeks ago, the environmental group from our cluster of churches were out touring where the trees have been planted in our name from money we had raised. And we actually couldn't walk in the area, Wheelban Creek area, because there was so much water. And it was only a week or so later when the atmospheric river came down and just flooded the whole area, the whole prairie. We are in desperate times. We are not waiting to see if climate change is going to happen. We are now living in the midst of it. Jesus, in these words that are attributed to him by the gospel writer, is warning of the times that are coming. You'll see signs. You'll all see the signs. You'll see it coming. So wake up, pay attention. And this is the promise of the coming of the Son of Man, or coming of the Messiah, the return of the Messiah to make the world right again. The story goes on to speak of taking the sign of the fig tree. When you see it budding, you know spring is coming. When you feel, in their case, the warm, dry winds coming off the southern desert, you know what's coming. A hot day is coming. When we see the clouds in the sky and the rain and inches of rain, like 200 milliliters of rain, millimeters of rain, we know the signs. We know it's coming. Climate change, the hurting world. We've broken the garden in which God placed us. And it's so despairing to think about it, right? This is not a simple short-term solution. It's taken us a couple hundred years to get here, and the last 30 or 40 years have been the biggest impact. It's going to take us a long time to correct it, using technology and the will of the people. So as the people of God, as children of God's creation, it is our duty and our calling to speak out, to take personal action and change things, but also to be a voice for those who don't have the voice, the trees, the salmon, the animals, the forests. To be a voice for the voiceless, and our children and grandchildren and children that aren't even born yet, to say we must protect and save this world. There is no greater priority. So what is our hope? What is our hope? Well, some of it is that there are technologies coming that will make a difference. Some of it is that this has been so dramatic over the last months, the heat dome and these atmospheric rivers, so dramatic that there's no more ignoring it. These signs are big enough, like a blazing neon sign in the sky. Take action. Change your ways. That maybe not only you and I and our communities, but the whole nation, the whole world, will finally respond. This has been ours. There's, of course, other ones. There's a storm this week in the Maritimes that had 200 millimeters of rain. There was the heat domes in Europe in past years and this year. And forest fires here, Australia, California, Europe. Signs around the world. The time to change. The time to take action. And together, humanity can do it. Together, we can save the world for ourselves and for all of creation. So we come into Advent. We come into the beginning of the church year where we speak of renewal and hope and the return or the coming of the Christ into the world, the return of the Christ light. And it is a time of hope. And it has to be our message in our hearts to ourselves and to the world. Change is coming. Like it or not, whether we're ready or not, the change is coming. So, friends, do not lose hope because we're soaking wet or boiling hot. Instead, take it as a sign and as an inspiration to speak the truth to the world and to change the way you live in any small way you can do that. We can do this. We can save the world. It's up to us. And this is the calling that the Divine Holy One gives us. God be with you, guide you, and support you as you work to save creation for yourselves and others.